we're going to talk with you today and talk with Mr. Bill Washington, who's graciously agreed to join us here today, and his nursing home social worker, Kim Wolf from Governor Bacon, who assisted him and partnered with the ADRC team, specifically Andy Wozni and her people at the Care Transitions team, to live in the community. So first of all, let me start with you, Kim. When did you first meet Bill?
I met Mr. Washington when I started working at Governor Bacon in December of 2009. My second day of working there, he made sure he came up and introduced himself once he learned I was going to be his social worker. So I quickly learned that he was a very motivated individual who was looking for discharge, and that I needed to read his chart first. So out of 30 residents, he was number one. When I read his chart, I had looked back and learned a lot about him, that he was a very independent individual who was living in his own home, had relationships, a career, and all of a sudden was overcome with an illness. And he was very weak and confused. He was unable to take care of himself and was put in Kent General Hospital for several months. That was in 2008 when he became ill, and he came to Governor Bacon in February of 2009. When he first came to our nursing home, he was dependent on a wheelchair, and he needed much nursing care and physical therapy. He had a social worker at that time, Margaret, who started working with him and working with the Medicaid application and different things. And as he was slowly starting to improve and starting to talk about his goal of being discharged, she referred him to Money Files the person. So we started there. And when I met him in December of 2009, I saw a lot of improvements. By the time I met him, he was using a walker, went from wheelchair to walker. He was, again, very motivated and determined, and he became our resident council president. So he was very active in our community. When I started working with him, we started talking about assisted living, and he mentioned that would be an interest, so we put him on waiting lists up and down the state on assisted living facilities. But then he kept improving and becoming more and more independent. He was, as time went on, we found that he wasn't eligible for Money Files the person, and so we looked into one of the waiver programs, and that's where Andy Wozni came in and started meeting with him and myself and started planning for discharge. And in planning for his discharge, he did have a guardian. When he went into the hospital, a public guardian was necessary, and in time as he was improving, the guardianship, we actually, ended that because he was becoming more and more independent. He was able to make decisions for himself. But in, the nursing home preparing for his discharge, besides nursing him back to health, observed him take his medications. We felt it was very important for him to take his medications independently, make sure he knows what meds to take at what times. Physical therapy did a lot of work with him, strengthening his legs and arms and everything. And then also they went to the home to see if there were any home modifications that were needed. And what they found was they needed a railing was needed at the front steps in order for him to get into the home. He needed some shower bars and an elevated commode. So mostly, his landlord was a good friend of his and was, getting a home in working condition, and, made contact with his landlord and everything and put his home, in the shape that he needed and made those home modifications. Andy Wozni went out and verified that those modifications were in place, and we also made a visit to the home, and he and I visited and made sure that those modifications were in place, and then tried to look at what other things were needed in order for him to go home. In the process, We had done a DART application for paratransit for him. We referred him to United Cerebral Palsy for rental assistance. We assisted him in going to DMV and getting an ID card. We were setting up medical appointments, and I even took him to a medical appointment so that he was aware of where this was and was familiar with the people, and it would help with a smoother transition. We had to ask Andy Wozni to assist him in getting his utilities set up. He was able to do a lot of it on his own, but they needed a security deposit, so they were able to help with that through the waiver program. He got all his utilities set up. Overall, he was a very active person in Governor Bacon, a very good advocate for himself and the other residents. He did have the support of, and I think this is really important, he also had the support of his friend who's also, his landlord, but also a girlfriend at that time. So he was very motivated to be on his own and for walking. And by the time he was discharged in October 2010, a year ago, he was able to just walk with only a cane. So he had really was motivated and determined to get there, and he did. And of course, upon his discharge, we gave him 7 days worth of medications, follow-up medical appointments, and counseling to also deal with his new illness, so he won't go through this whole process again, and try to prevent further admissions to a nursing home and hospital. We gave him a lot of contact names and phone numbers of United Cerebral Palsy independent resources, which actually he's become very active with, DART paratransit, and he made sure that we threw him a goodbye party. So it looked like a bridal shower with lots of food and lots of gifts, but we had a great time. And we gave him a lot of necessities that he would need in the home, which even, we worked with the state surplus, and we were able to get some furniture for him. We kind of worked things out to provide some basic furniture in his home. We gave him a lot of household goods and everything. And even our facility director was leaving at that time, and so they were making changes to our offices, and we even gave him the sofa from our facility director's office. So
got it right now.
I think this has got to be really the most supported case that we've actually done, I think, in a long time. But we, as we were saying earlier, the nursing home kind of becomes a family. And even though I didn't know Bill for very long in the nursing home, you could tell definitely, the facility staff were his family in many respects. So he was discharged in October a year ago.
Thank you. So Bill, your odyssey began in October of 2008, and you went home to your own home in October of 2010, a 2-year odyssey. Tell us, start from the beginning. What went on at the time of your admission? What happened to you?
Well, I was admitted in Kent General in 2008, October 2008. I was sick, unable to take care of myself at that time. There was a public guardian assigned to me at that time. Then I was admitted to Governor Bacon in February 2009. When I arrived there, when I arrived there, I was on a stretcher. I could not walk, stand on my feet. That's when I woke up. Because when I was at Kent General, I did not know me. I didn't know I was there. For 4 months, I didn't know. I just didn't know. And I started waking up, like I said, at Governor Bacon. And then I started seeing things. I started praying more. God had just came into my life. And the things that helped me was I had a sight where I saw there was a lot of people there that needed some help. And I started voicing my opinions. I started going to certain meetings. I started doing a lot of things with activities. And I was working out in therapy. I was a very, very, very busy person. And that's what brought me through I had a very strong support team. I had some of the best nurses, best doctors, best people that just told me, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. They were always telling me I can do it, you know. And even when, after that, a year goes by, you know, I had goals. And in life, that's what I do now. I have goals. When I was in that wheelchair, I told God, I said, I can't end my life in this wheelchair. No way. I could not understand why I couldn't get out of bed for 6 or 7 months. You know, I had to be assisted to get out. But I'm better now, and I see a whole lot clearer, you know, and God has been good to me. And I say, you know, to this and to everybody in here, God didn't make no jump.
Bill, did you experience any barriers when you were trying to return to the community?
Well, yeah, it was different because, you know, first thing I had to do was go to Social Security. And then I had to sign up for my SSI. Then I had to sign up for my food stamps. And then I had to change my Medicaid. And, you know, I did that all on my own. I mean, even though I had a support team, I said, no, I'm just going to get on that bus, get on this bus, get on that bus. And God knows, the day I got discharged out of Governor Bacon, I got home at 11 o'clock that morning. By 3 o'clock, I had did everything I was supposed to do, signed all the papers and everything. So that was a plus. And then the next following day was, I had to get the utilities turned on and everything. So, you know, God was right there for me. Everything just seemed to work out just perfect, you know. So yes, it was difficult, but I handled it, you know. That's how I am. I just let God just show me the way and I follow him. And that's what makes me make it. But to go on to say another thing, it was kind of scary when I first walked out. I'm going to tell you the truth. Because for a long time, I didn't have to cook. For a long time, I didn't have to make my bed. For a long time, I didn't have to clean my room. And here I am. I got to do all this stuff again. And, you know, it's strange, you know. I did it all my life, but it seemed like I had to learn all over again. You know, it's really different. But I like to tell everybody now that I have another goal. And right now, I'm into independent resources. Me and my fiance, we're ready to go to a black and ball dance. That's a big thing for us. But now I see that I think I'll be going into a lot of these nursing homes in the state of Delaware and sit down with a lot of these residents. Maybe there might be one, there might be two. Maybe that I can encourage them and help them like these nurses and Governor Bacon has helped me. And that, to me, seems to be my next goal. Because I've done a lot in 1 year. God knows I know what I can do in another year. You know, this time, you know, you might hear this, you might remember me telling you this. God knows you watch it, because I'm coming back.
He has come back to visit us, by the way.
That's right. I will.
Thank you so much to Kim and Bill, both of you, and thank you for bringing your story here today.